Hey folks, we're here at Sweetwater. We're having a good old time. I'm a huge fan of Nathan East.
Uh-oh.
And to be here with him at this glorious establishment, engaging in convivial conversation and extemporaneous song
Come on.
is making my nostrils flare with the vehemence unparalleled. Ladies and gentlemen, Nathan, how the heck are you? You know, we met years ago. First time I met you was in Hawaii, of all places. They had some kind of event for like the Hawaiian equivalent of like their Grammy Association.
Right, exactly.
And was out there for that, and we shot the breeze a little bit. And then one time I was with Roscoe Beck at the NAMM show, and we hung out a little bit.
Right.
But this is our first chance to actually engage in musics.
Yeah, Greg and I have not had a chance to play together until today, right?
That's correct.
And I mean, it feels like forever because we've been listening kind of to the same music, right?
Exactly.
For a little bit, and it's a joy. It's a joy. It's a pleasure.
Likewise, my friends. An absolute pleasure. I'm like the biggest Clapton fan.
Oh man, me too.
Right?
Me too.
And you've been playing with him for a long time.
It's the 40th year now, you know. And you know, when I was a 14-year-old student of the bass listening to Jack Bruce in my bedroom with the cream blacklight posters going.
Yes. Yes. Exactly.
And to be on stage with the man himself all those years later.
It's crazy.
It's a good time. Good time.
Well, I was mentioning to you before we went on air that that 24 Nights record.
Man.
And then the reissue with all the extra tracks.
Yes.
I mean, not to blow smoke, but your bass playing on there is worth listening to all by itself because it's savage. I mean, the substitutions you bring to the fore. I mean, because you know it's simple music, but it's not easy. And you bring all this complexity in a cool way without it being too, as I like to say, leg humpy.
I've heard that before, but I know the feeling. you know, and the thing about it is this music is kind of like part of our DNA, I feel like.
Right.
It's been around so long, and to be that, relevant and vital, half a century later or whatever it is, says a lot for the original notes,
No doubt about it.
So you want to pay homage to what was there. That's the wheel.
Right.
And then at the same time, you want to just kind of inject a little bit of spirit from today.
Yes.
So it's
absolutely.
It's a good fun, every night. It's a fun little experiment and project, which we all enjoy. Like, where can we go tonight?
Exactly.
And will we go over the cliff, off the cliff,
right?
Just up to the edge, So
in his band, he gives you guys a lot of room to do what you want.
Yeah, there's never any don't do that or play this, and then there's never been, in 40 years, he's never said what to play.
That's awesome.
It's amazing, and basically the spirit is what keeps everybody engaged. It's like not knowing what's going to happen from night to night.
That's awesome. Yeah. So as far as like solos, everything's open ended. You guys go, and there's a wink and a nod when they end, and
exactly.
It's the way it should be. Doggone it! There's no playing with tracks in Eric Clapton's band.
Oh no! Come on now, never.
Thank you.
Yeah. So the beauty is from one night to the next, not knowing what's going to happen. And the spirit of taking these tunes that have been around forever,
right,
and put in a new twist. That's basically what Unplugged was as well,
right.
It's like, taking Layla, and all of a sudden it's completely different.
Correctamundo.
And so it's just a blast. I
would imagine.
Very fortunate to kind of and for all these years later, the brotherhood is as solid as ever. Yeah. Getting ready to jump down to South America.
Oh, no kidding.
Brazil, yeah. And so we'll have some fun. But yeah, I mean, traveling all over the world, and you just become closer. Just the spirit of the whole band is just fantastic.
That's glorious.
Yeah, nothing like it. And it's like an old love,
Yeah, if you will. A nice segue. We were kind of messing around with this old EC song. I think it was originally on Journeyman, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Robert Cray.
Here's another one.
Yeah. I mean, these guys just, they get the blues on a level that's
right,
much deeper than most
mortal. Exactly. I understand. Well, yeah, again, speaking to the fact that it's not, it's simple, but it's not easy.
Yeah.
pretty good. Felt pretty good.
So, who are your influences?
Well, right? Well, you know, I was born in '66, so by all rights, I should have been kind of a metalloid. You know, not that there's anything wrong with that. But my older brother, I was the youngest of 7, and my brother was the oldest. There were 5 girls in between, so I had a room with my brother. And he had all the Cream records and Hendrix. And I was the hugest Hendrix fan. And Cream era Clapton was like my thing. Of course, his whole career, but that was my initial thing. And then I was always really weird. I did a report on Jimi Hendrix when I was in 3rd grade.
Oh, man.
And you can imagine that my teacher, because you were supposed to do a report on your hero. And my hero was Jimi Hendrix, you know. But I would read about these guys. I'd read about Clapton and I'd read about Hendrix, and I'd always see the names, you know, Muddy Waters and Howlin' Wolf and B.B. King and Freddie King and Albert King and, you know, Hubert, all these guys. So I did the deep dive of that stuff pretty early on.
Fantastic.
But one of my favorite records of all time, too, was the Eric Clapton record with the Just One Night. Came out in 1980, I believe, and Albert Lee was playing guitar on that record. And I was listening to this guy. I was like, wait a minute, that's not the blues scale. What's happening here?
Right.
And so then I did the whole deep dive on that stuff. And so, and I was going to be a musician for a living, and my dad was not pleased. You know, my dad was a lawyer. And don't get me wrong, everyone's like, oh, his dad was a lawyer. He came for money. If I came for money, I must have left it behind. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes, he was a lawyer, but, you know, it's not like we were, you know, champagne and caviar and what have you. But anyway, so he was not thrilled about me being a musician. So he gave me all the support I needed but he was kind of like, you know, of course, listen, if you're going to do this thing, you better be damn good. So I was always practicing and learning as many styles as I could. And I went to school for music where I really majored in beer. You went to school in San Diego, right?
Yes. UC San Diego, yeah.
And so what did you all study there when you were?
Well, I got my degree in music. I finally, you know.
Was it like a general music thing, or was it specifically bass and?
No, I had to declare a major, and it was music, but it was composition and also performance. We did have Bert Turetsky, who was our bass master there, you know, and contrabass, and still friends to this day, you know. And you know, it's really ground zero for me in terms of, you know, having a place to launch from and leave the world. And he said, okay, I want you to move to LA, start making some money.
Indeed. And so you did.
So I said, okay, let's see what we can do, you know.
Awesome.
And it's same with the folks, you know, have something to fall back on.
Right.
And, but if you really are going to get serious about it, you know, you go in 100%. So, when I bought them the house, they kind of realized that okay, maybe this music thing is going to work.
I didn't get quite to that point with my parents. I bought them lunch.
Yeah, you know, no, as long as you can buy them anything, you know. If they're not having to buy you lunch, then
exactly,
it's a good day.
Exactly. Well, I always say, I don't know if you feel the same way about it, but if you're gonna go into music, you kind of got to be a little crazy. Not crazy negative, but just so singularly focused.
Yeah.
That there's no even consideration of doing anything else.
No, it's not an option, you know. So you leave the parachute behind,
right?
You know, and you start sailing in waters that you don't really know. You know, there's no prescription that you do it this way and you'll be a success. You know?
Right. Exactly.
And so that's where your heroes come in, you know. And you look at people like Hendrix and Eric,
right?
Who like really just carved a path,
right,
for the rest of us, you know. And
exactly,
gave us something. And for me too, it was like, you know, Sly Stone and all these guys, Earth, Wind and Fire,
right,
and groups that, you know, Earth, Wind and Fire. 50 years later, they're out there, you know, still killing it,
right.
And but Santana, and it was like all these people that were like the Wheel,
right,
you know, the Beatles,
yeah.
And you're listening and saying, okay, I want to do that, you know.
Exactly.
I mean, to this day, and then to get to work with Ringo, and
right,
and when George Harrison was alive, you know, to be really buds with these guys is great. You know, it's fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, you pretty much played with all the musical legends. Did you ever just say it? I mean, it's got to, at one point, these are guys I work for now, but it's at the same time, you got to be like, holy shit.
you do, you know, and you know, when the phone rings and you look up and it's Ringo, you know,
right?
It's like, wow, this is kind of cool.
And it says Ringo on my phone when he's calling.
Right. But I mean, I remember in college when I did a clinic with Billy Cobham, and he went back and told John McLaughlin, you know, and next thing you know, I get a call from John McLaughlin, hey, you want to go tour, you know. And it was 3 weeks before I graduated. So like, oh man, I've spent 4 or 5 years walking around this campus about to get my degree.
Right.
And of course, all my musicians friends said, "Are you crazy?
You gotta go.
You gotta go." But then I called, I called my grandmother, and she said, "If you don't do but one thing for me, finish school, finish what you started." And so that was my decision, and I stayed with. But John's a good dear friend to this day, and we didn't get to work together then, but I love him, and it's like heavy influence.
Yeah.
And but yeah, after all these years, it's funny to listen to all your heroes,
right?
And you look up and they're in your Rolodex.
That's so crazy. When you're not traveling with any of the various people like Clapton and so on and so forth that you work with, what are you doing?
Yeah, well, now the most exciting thing that I'm doing is working with my son Noah.
Nice.
He plays.
I've seen some videos. He's awesome.
He's got the ears, perfect pitch, but he hears around corners. And my favorite musician, actually, keys and anything with keys,
right?
So we're just putting the final touches on a father-son album.
Nice.
That we'll release, and then we've been touring around the world together.
Awesome
stuff. Yeah. So like, here's something after all these years in the business I haven't done.
Right.
Is play and tour with my son.
That's what I do. I play and tour with my son, and it's
fantastic.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it's amazing, and family being the most important thing, and
well, that's the thing, and yep. Plus, it hopefully they'll be the one to change our diapers. Remember that time where I gave you a gig? Now clean that
up. we go from changing their diapers
exactly to hopefully it will reciprocate at some point in time.
But I mean, speaking of that family situation, that's why I'm excited about the Laney amplification situation.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and which just in recent times, and like only for about a year I've been playing, and then we're talking 40 years of amplifiers, great companies, but I feel like I've arrived at an amp that really represents.
Oh, it sounds magnificent.
I love the sound, just right out of the box, plugging it in, keeping everything flat.
Right.
And it just really kind of feels very musical to me.
Right.
And so we were over there in England with Mr. Clapton last year when the guy showed up and said, well, just if you want to try this out, so I plugged in and I said, well, the best way is to bring it on the gig, and that's a bold move.
It is indeed.
And it's a frightening move, because if it doesn't work out, then
right.
you got some splaining to do.
Yeah.
But it worked out perfectly. And ever since, so it's musical. The cabinets, the head are like everything I could dream for,
Awesome.
And wish for. So we've been working together and kind of coming up with a wish list of things that like what would we want now,
right?
Take it to another level, So
cool.
Yeah.
So when you're playing, like say with Clapton's band, what's like the stage volume like per se?
The stage volume is not crazy loud like you would think it is. We're in arenas,
right.
A lot of times, so you're looking at 25,000 people out there, but
right.
On stage, we just have enough. We got a great team that's been around forever. And basically the monitors are lovely.
Right.
And the front of house, is enough to hear. So it's not crazy loud,
Yeah, because I noticed when you're watching Clapton, he's pretty far back from the mic when he's singing,
Right.
So it can't be horribly loud, because I know
right.
I'm on stage so damn loud. I'm like, I'm devouring the mic to try to hear what's going on. But
yeah, it's a comfortable level, I mean, obviously he has to play to a level that's going to get the guitar to sing like
right.
that, but it's a joy to be on that stage and hear, especially the music that's coming out. You don't have to try too hard, or you don't have to crank it too loud for it to come through.
So are things changing up quite a bit? Like one sound check, you're like, hey, let's try this one and put it on the show tonight, or is he like, here's kind of the set list?
No, we love changing up, and obviously, you're always hearing from the audience, and you always play,
right, exactly.
Whatever it is, and 50 years of catalog to choose from,
exactly.
And we all have our favorites, and I've had the pleasure of recording those songs, now since like early 80s.
Early 80s, exactly. Yeah, because that first lineup was a 4-piece, right? With you,
exactly.
Greg Phillinganes, and Phil Collins.
Yeah.
And
we call it the Heaven Band.
Yeah.
We had so much fun, and playing all those songs. Of course, Phil, he wanted to be a drummer in the band,
Right.
So no pressure of having to to sing or anything, you know. So he came and played. It's so much fun to play with, too.
Yeah, he's a great drummer.
Fantastic drummer. And I was always a fan, you know. And so, again, in 40 years, we've developed a lot of history together. And
that's crazy.
Yeah,
it's glorious.
That's too much fun. I mean, I'm a kid in a candy store in dreamland, you know, that just like say, really? You know, is this what happened when you sat there and first saw the Beatles and grabbed a broom and pretended to be, you know, play guitar? And, yeah, it's a lot of fun, you know.
So is there anybody at this point that you haven't played with that you were like, man, if I could get in on that action just for the musicality of it?
Yeah, you know, Prince was on that list.
Oh, yeah.
And obviously missed it by that much, you know. But actually, Pat Metheny is one of my, you know, musical heroes.
Yeah, sure.
It's a handful of guitar, you know. And we've never done anything official. When I'm in New York, go up to the house and we jam, and I go to see all his concerts. But we've kind of threatened something official at some point, you know. So that would be great.
That would be glorious.
Yeah, that'd be a lot of fun.
Love it.
It's supreme musicianship, you know.
Oh, no doubt about it.
Yeah, and but pretty much, I mean, I looked down the list. I mean, I went past my bucket list a long time ago of people that I wanted to play with, you know, and it's, I mean, then, you know, people that I didn't think Daft Punk would need, you know, would need regular musicians. All their music is so, you know, so in-house, you know, but when we got together to do those Random Access Memories record about 10 years ago, that was a lot of fun. And it just let me know, oh man, here's another little avenue. And,
awesome
type of music, you know, so love it. And then I love being here. And
absolutely.
Man, this place is amazing.
It is absolutely amazing.
If you've never been here, it's definitely a campus to visit.
It's the Starship Enterprise.
Yeah, exactly. No, and I feel like, and I've, you know, I have personal experience of ordering from here.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
So I know the quality of service, and they actually call you back and you're saying, well, who's this calling me? Oh, we're just checking on you.
You're right, checking on you to make sure that's all good.
The gear was good, and it's amazing. You know, to me, it's the standard of what it should be in our world.
Yeah, no doubt. Absolutely.
The service and the attention to detail is really something very special.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so
I concur.
Proud to be here, and I understand you drove here.
I did. I drove down from Milwaukee in the mythical vessel that is known to anybody who follows the band online. I refer to it as the Gristle Missile. And I'm always giving little updates as we're going to our next gig from the cab of that bold vessel. And we packed that thing up. We get the B3 in there and the Leslie and the big drum kit and all my guitars and whatnot. And we scour the country, scalding people's brains with the power of rock.
It's one of those places where like when you're here, I'm going, man, everything is right here.
You know? Yeah. It's a problem. It's a problem for the credit card.
Well, it's certainly great to finally get to play together, and you sound amazing.
Oh, thank you so much. Man, it's an absolute honor to play with you. And when I found out I was an opportunity, I was like, man, I'm all in. It's fun to chit-chat as well.
No, absolutely. And you must have had your 10,000 hours and more in the woodshed, you know.
Oh, well, I've been at it for a while. You know, I always tell people, it's like, you know, I don't have hobbies. I don't golf. I don't bowl. I'm not in the dart league. It's like I play guitar and I reproduce, and that's pretty much it.
No, well, it's fun, and I mean, what we do, we never really sleep on this. I mean,
no.
As you go to sleep, you're thinking you have an idea for a song.
Yep.
It's just like so many variations on a theme.
Exactly.
You know? And that's what I think being a total musician is all about. You know, we're always kind of trying to carve out hey, is the end of that song? Is that really the ending we want to do? Or is it like it never stops?
It never stops. It's always something. But you never get bored. First thing I do in the morning is I get up, I go downstairs, I fire up that coffee machine, and I grab a guitar. And I shoot the breeze with my wife as I'm playing, and she hates that. Stop your noodling! During COVID, we were doing all these live streams from the house, and which was great because it was a way to obviously keep productive and keep on making some do-re-mi during the great struggle. Yeah, and we were in the back end of our house, and gradually we kind of usurped into the dining room with all of our gear, and my wife's like, get this crap out of the house. So we finally we built a new garage and my room over it. So I've got a lair out there. So now it's like she expects no guitars in the house at all.
Oh man!
But now where she's really suffering is that my daughter, who just moved back, she graduated from school and she was working up in Minneapolis. She decided to move back home, but she's writing songs and playing guitar. And so we're doing a record with her, but now she's playing guitar in the house. So now my wife's like, just when I thought it was out, it's back in.
Amazing. Well, I mean, then I don't feel so bad because our living room has turned into a complete recording studio.
Yeah.
And my son, he said, if you only got me one gift for the rest of my life, it would be a Hammond organ, you know?
Uh-huh.
And so I started doing the math. And that turned out to be a good, a good gift. So I found, I called Tim Carmen and he set me up in the church and we went out and listened and they delivered a Hammond to the house.
Oh yeah.
And that's when I ordered the Leslie from Sweetwater.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
And it showed up. But now we have the Yamaha grand piano. We have the Hammond organ. We have synths, all my basses, amplifiers in there. And of course, these arrived for me to check out. So now there's at least, 2 Laneys in my living room.
Yeah.
Awesome. All different sizes and all my basses. And so it's like, sorry, but whoever goes in their living room anyway.
Well, true.
Like you're
putting it to good use.
It's beautiful and everything. But so, I mean, it's totally. And then so we have the recording gear in there and the computers as well. And it's a lot of fun. So we go from like making music in our living room to being on stage. We had they invited us to play at Crossroads.
Oh, nice.
Guitar Festival last year. And so my son and I, we got to play and they said, would you be ambassadors for Crossroads? Yeah, absolutely. So those are the kind of things that are just, becoming exciting about, again, doing it with my son and keeping it in the family.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, should we play one more? Let's just do a little.
Are we
good?
What do you guys think?